Okay, so you think you know the story of the Raven and the Fox, right? It's one of those tales we all heard as kids, but what if I told you it's not just a simple fable? What if it's actually a brilliant masterclass in psychology, persuasion, and the art of deception?
You know, this whole story, it really all comes down to one big question. What's more powerful? A sweet lie that makes you feel amazing about yourself, or the foolish pride inside you that desperately wants to believe it? Just keep that question in your head as we dive in. All right, let's set the scene. Every great conflict needs a couple of things, right? You need characters who want something, and you need that something they both desperately want. And that's exactly where our story kicks off, by setting the stage for a classic battle of wits.
Now check this out. This slide just lays it all out so perfectly. You've got the Raven, perched up high. He's got the prize, but he's got a fatal flaw. His pride, his Gamand. And then down below, you've got the Fox. He's got no physical advantage at all. His only weapon? Flattery. Or, as it says here, sweet, sweet words.
And what's this whole showdown about? This tiny little thing. A morsel. It's just a bite of food. But in this moment, for these two characters, it's everything. It's the Fox's next meal, and it's the Raven's hard-won dinner. This one little prize is what puts the entire story into motion.
So, the Fox is in a tough spot, right? He can't climb the tree, he definitely can't fly. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna use the only tool he has, his words. So let's break down his brilliant step-by-step strategy. This is how you craft the perfect trap. And the attack begins. Notice how he starts. He doesn't demand the food, he doesn't threaten the Raven. Nope. He opens with a simple, admiring compliment. And he even calls him Sir. How clever is that? Right away, he's showing respect and starting to puff up that big ego.
So, his first move? Bam! He goes straight for the Raven's vanity. He zooms in on his looks, talking about his shiny and beautiful feathers. I mean, this is persuasion 101, isn't it? You make someone feel good about themselves, and suddenly, they're a lot more open to what you have to say next. And here it is. This is where he really starts to set the hook. The Fox doesn't just stop with how the Raven looks, he escalates. He plants this powerful idea in the Raven's head. Someone that beautiful must have an equally beautiful voice.
And this is just a brilliant second move. The Fox dangles the ultimate prize, status. He's not just saying, hey, I bet you have a nice voice. He's saying, your voice is so amazing it could make you a king. Well, now the Raven has this overwhelming desire to prove it. The trap is officially set.
Okay, so the Fox has laid the perfect verbal trap. Now let's flip over and see how the Raven's own weakness makes him walk right into it. This is where we learn that pride can be a very, very expensive emotion.
And let's be clear about what we mean by pride or Gamand. It's not just about being confident. It's that specific feeling that you are fundamentally better than everyone else. And it's that foolish, unwise emotion that just completely clouds the Raven's judgment. And you can just see the dominoes fall, one after another. It's a tragic little chain reaction. He hears the flattery, and boom, all common sense just goes right out the window. He's so full of himself that he completely forgets his voice is just a terrible croak. His pride is screaming at him to prove the Fox right. He puffs up his chest, opens his beak to sing, and just like that, it's over. The prize is gone, a perfect four-step failure. So the Fox snatches up the morsel. But wait, he's not done yet. He delivers the final blow. And it's not with his teeth. It's with his words, one last time. He's about to serve up the lesson, for the Raven, and for all of us.
And there it is, the punchline to the whole story. The Fox spells it out. All those sweet words, the ones that make you feel special, that make you glow, you've got to learn to ignore them. Why? Because pride, my friend, well, it's just not very smart. It makes you weak.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's a pretty serious warning when you think about it. Flattery is a powerful tool, and it can make any of us act like a fool. The real lesson here is to be careful. Be on your guard when someone starts buttering you up, because that pride they're feeding could easily make you lose something you really care about.
But hold on, we're not quite done. Because the story you know, that's not where it actually ends. We're going to look at a fascinating epilogue, what the Raven did after he was tricked. This is the part of the story that most of us have never heard.
And this is where it gets really cool. The Raven was sad, sure, but not because he lost his lunch. He was sad because he'd been cheated, because he'd been a fool. He finally understood how he'd been tricked by a few kind words. But instead of just moping around, he did something amazing. He turned his humiliating mistake into a mission. He set off on a journey to warn all the other animals about the dangers of pride. He took his failure and turned it into wisdom for his entire community.
And that brings it all back to you and me. The raven learned his lesson the hard way. So let me leave you with this question. When someone praises you, maybe a little too much, what's your gut reaction? Do you feel that warm glow of pride? Or does a little part of you get just a tiny bit suspicious, wondering what they might really want? It's definitely something to think about.